Crime rhymes on the show. Live, love life like you just don't care. High fives and leaders never scared. Rain the noise is the moment they fear. Get up, sit up, beautiful idea. Get up, throw your hands in the air.
Say farewell to France, goodbye to Greece and bugger off to Brussels. It's Friday, we're live, we're out of the EU, and it's time for the last leg in, last leg out. Tonight on the show, the referendum results throw a cat among the pigeons. We'll recap a campaign that featured a lot of bull. Plus, we'll be joined on the couch by actor and comedian Stephen Mangan, as well as Labor MP John Mann and Boris Johnson's dad Stanley. On the show that's wondering if we've all just gone to the dogs. Welcome to the Last Leg In, Last Leg Out, the show that fell asleep last night inside Europe and woke up this morning with Donald Trump inside us. With me on the couch, as always, are the pride of Dartmoor, Josh Widdicombe, and the man who thought a no-confidence motion was something you had the morning after a big night out, Alex Brooker. It may not surprise you to know we've had a lot of tweets today. Like this one from Stella Branch, who said, is it okay to be wondering what the last leg will be putting together for this evening's program? Hashtag Brexit, hashtag the indecent minority. Yes, it is okay to wonder what we've been putting together for tonight, because for most of the day we've been wondering that too. This is not what we signed up for. Can I just point that out? 4 years ago, we were asked to host a dinky little Paralympics highlight show.
I wasn't even meant to be on the sofa. I was just meant to be doing the medals table. Now we're out the EU. We're fucked.
I don't think one thing led to the other. I don't think the people of Britain were going, right, this has gone too far. I know. So I remember my first meeting and they were like, do you think you could make a joke about someone doing the blind long jump and landing on a rake? And I said, yes. I think there's been a mix-up. Currently, Ian Hislop's on BBC One trying to make a joke about the dwarf javelin. That's dwarfs throwing javelins, obviously.
Look, we're going to do our best to cover the referendum tonight, but like anything that's tense and awkward, we're not ready to talk about it yet, so we're going to distract ourselves. We're going to talk about something else for a few minutes. We're going to catch up on some old business, because last week we showed you this photo of Alex asleep while drinking with Russell Crowe. And we asked you to make your own Photoshop versions of that. We got this one that included last week's guest, Kunal Nayar. We got this lovely one.
Oh, my God, that was a very itchy birth.
Oh, my God, it would have been like Velcro. And we got this Game of Thrones themed photo.
I love that one.
I only just saw you. That's lovely. A man has no name. A man has no face.
A man has no leg.
I've got no idea what you're talking about.
It's a Game of Thrones thing. As always, we will do our best to answer
I never thought I'd say this. Can we move on to the EU referendum?
We're going to do our best to answer your big questions this week. You can tweet them to us at the last leg. You can use the hashtag #IsItOK. For example, is it okay that David Cameron may end up being remembered as the Prime Minister who lost us Europe, possibly Scotland and maybe even Northern Ireland? No. Is it okay that in the grand scheme of things that's still better than being remembered for shagging a pig? Of course, the big story of the week is the referendum. Katie Wilkinson said, is it okay to ask if I can have a refund on 2016? I've done the 6-month trial and it's not going great, to be honest. So here's what has happened so far today. Britain has voted out of the EU. The pound has plummeted. The stock market crashed. Scotland may leave the United Kingdom. Ireland may reunite. Spain wants joint sovereignty over Gibraltar. The Prime Minister resigned. Donald Trump thinks we've done the right thing. And Harry Styles is reported to have signed a solo record deal.
I mean, that's a real bad exit story, that one. Harry Styles. I mean, it's one thing after another.
A lot of people tweeted saying, is Adam going to get angry tonight? But I don't want to get angry for a couple of reasons. Firstly, I'm not going to be angry about the way people vote. This was a referendum. This is a democracy. And whether or not people voted the way I wanted them to vote, it's not up to me to just start shouting at people. That's not the way it works. You know, a lot of our viewers voted out, I'm sure. There's probably people here tonight that voted out. And the thing is, anger's not going to help anyone either. What we need right now is a little bit of unity. I mean, we might be Great Britain, but right now we are not a united kingdom.
I mean, it just... I'm not surprised. You know, I was surprised when people get voting to keep Wagner in X Factor for 8 weeks. And ever since then, it's never surprised me our ability to mess up a vote. On the other hand, I am surprised we turned our back on David Beckham. And it's just... I mean, that's just too much.
Well, that was a big thing for you, wasn't it? You were waiting the whole way through to see what David Beckham was going to do.
Yeah, I was, yeah. I'm a big
joke,
political
people.
mind. I was waiting for Beck, yeah. Who isn't?
I tell you who isn't. 51% of the country. I've said it before, and I'll say it again.
Yeah.
Democracy doesn't work. I was joking. I was joking.
You know, cheer the way you want to cheer. Bearing in mind, and I know there's people around the country watching this, we're in London, and clearly most of the people in London voted to remain.
I mean, just for the record, I do believe in democracy. I'm not moved... I'm not going, and guys, it's been lovely, but I'm off to do the last leg North Korea. Where I'll probably lose a leg if I say the wrong thing.
We'll welcome you back.
I mean, personally, I'm sad about the way the campaign was fought. I mean, it got really, really ugly, and I don't think, regardless of the result, I don't think it needed to be taken down into the gutter quite as much as it was.
No, it didn't, but it's a little bit... There's a lot of, like, extremity still being talked about now. You know, There's a lot of people today who are suggesting because, you know, the people that voted Leave are stupid or racist. And, you know, to suggest that that is being prejudiced in itself. Now, don't get me wrong, some of them probably are stupid or racist. You get the odd knobhead, but you probably got the odd knobhead voting Remain. You know what I mean?
Hello?
I think that there's a section, you know, you can see the country's divided.
Yeah.
There's a part of the country that clearly feels completely disenfranchised from the rest of us. And, you know, they probably feel let down by the government. And I'm not saying that, you know, necessarily, I wouldn't have said that voting out of the EU is the way for them, you know, is the right way to go about it. But there's no doubt people are desperate for change. We've been talking today about, you know, oh, my God, it's going to be shit. For a lot of people, it already is shit. For a lot of people, they look at it, they looked at the situation, they probably thought, this can't get any worse. So, you know, if there's some way of getting change, get it. And I think a lot of people aren't understanding that.
I thought that 4 years ago when Alex was doing the medals table, but it hasn't.
I think the mood of the country and the split mood of the country was summed up perfectly last night, because I was watching it all happening and I was looking on Twitter and I found these two tweets right next to each other that, for me, completely summed up the difference of opinion. They were about Nigel Farage. The first one is, Nigel, I thank you for giving us this day. It would not have happened without you and no one else could have done it. My hero. Followed by, Nigel, we want to thank you for the biggest fall in the pound since Black Wednesday, you bilious purple plum ant. We said earlier, I'm not getting angry. I'm not getting angry. I'm not getting angry.
How did you see that? Neither of those were at you. What were you searching? Bilious purple plummet? Just another night in on my own?
OK, it was a Google
What are people writing about me? Sorry.
Neve Knight said, is it OK that as a 17-year-old my future has been decided for me by other people and I've had absolutely no say?
Well, I mean, unfortunately for you, you can't even legally buy booze to drown your sorrow, so...
You've got to draw a line somewhere. Like, I remember when I was 17 and my parents wouldn't let me use the landline to vote for Will Young, and I've got over it, right? But... yeah, I know. And they're watching now. Still angry. Now, but I think you've got to draw the line on age. I don't want to be queuing up behind someone in a nappy. Like, a young or old. Like...
But there was this weird thing whereby the majority of younger people voted to remain, and then once you got over about the age of 50, I think most people voted to leave. But then older people kind of went back to remain again, because those are the people that lived through World War II. And so they remembered it, and they actually didn't want to part ways with Europe. So there was this kind of weird age thing.
I mean, the young people are surprised that the old people, you know, have kind of done them over with this vote. All those years they spent, you know, hanging outside Tesco metros, smoking, drinking, intimidating them.
Yeah.
These old people just waiting for their chance. And yesterday, I just thought, I tell you what, see how you like listening to your drum and bass on your phone when we're out the EU, you little pricks.
Megiddo Gladi said, is it OK that Nigel Farage called today our Independence Day? Alex?
I mean, by the way, I had a doubly bad Independence Day last night because I actually saw the sequel to the film and it's fucking shit. It was so depressing. I had that Independence Day and then I woke up to that this morning. I was like, oh.
It was amazing watching Nigel Farage's progression throughout the night because at the beginning of the night, he virtually conceded. Have a look at this.
I have to say that it's been a long campaign. In my case, 25 years. And whatever happens tonight, whoever wins this battle, one thing I'm completely certain of is we are winning this war.
Now, I think if you concede early, then it should all be over. If an hour in you go, I know I'm conceding, then it's like golf. You don't play golf and then go, oh, you can have this hole, and then go, actually, no, you're a bit shit. I reckon I'm going to play it. A few hours later, Nigel Farage, a little bit worse for wear, got a little bit triumphant, and this happened.
This will be a victory for real people, a victory for ordinary people, a victory for decent people. We will have done it without having to fight, without a single bullet being fired. Let June the 23rd go down in our history as our Independence Day.
Tell you what, he's the only person that when he drinks grows 2 foot taller.
I said I wouldn't get angry, and I'm not going to get angry. But a lot of people were angry when he said this is a victory for ordinary, decent people, as if he was saying that the other 49% weren't ordinary, decent people. Also, I can't believe he actually said we did this without a bullet being fired. I think the entire nation knows there was a bullet being fired. But, like I said, I'm not getting angry. This morning he was interviewed on television and said this.
Can I ask about money? The £350 million a week we send to the EU, which we will no longer send to the EU, can you guarantee that's going to go to the NHS?
No, I can't, and I would never have made that claim. That was one of the mistakes I think that the Leave campaign made.
Hang on a moment, that was one of your adverts.
Well, it wasn't one of my adverts, I can assure you.
Well, that was one of the Leave campaign's adverts. But that money was going to go to the NHS.
And I think they made a mistake.
That's why many people have voted.
They made a mistake in doing that. But what I can tell you is we have a nice
You're
feather
saying
bed.
after 17 million people have voted for Leave,
Yeah.
based, I don't know how many people voted on the basis of that advert, but that was a huge part of the propaganda. You're now saying that's a mistake?
We have a £10 billion a year, a £34 million a day featherbed. That is going to be free money that we can spend on the NHS, on schools, or whatever it is.
Are you lying, frog-faced arsewife? I said I wouldn't get angry, but he didn't even make it to 7 a.m. before admitting that the basis for the Leave campaign was a steaming pile of
bullshit.
Not only has he lowered the level of political debate in this country to somewhere between Donald Trump and Mein Kampf, he didn't even ease us into the lie. If you're going to fuck us, at least use some lube. This is a man who doesn't think climate change is a problem, wants to scrap pollution limits on power stations, and has taken up smoking again because, in his words, I think the doctors have got it wrong on this one. Even if getting out of the EU was the right thing to do, we followed the wrong man there. That's like being led into Disneyland by Rolf Harris. Do you know what I mean? You might have fun while you're there, but you don't want him hanging around.
I just, when I watched that, I wonder if Piers Morgan was sat there thinking, I'm not the biggest twat at this table. I hope I've smart plus this.
Damon said, is it OK for David Cameron to resign? Why become PM when you're just going to give up and walk away if you don't get what you want? Now, a letter went round early last night to Save Dave, which just sounded like a bad Seth Rogen film. And then this morning the Prime Minister resigned, flanked by his wife Samantha.
It's always bad news when a politician comes out with their wife, because they're either quit or had an affair. only quit to hammer home the point. She should be there in a removal van, pressing the button. 2 Polish removal men to make the point.
So I don't know whether he's just got up this morning, looked at the news and thought, I'll tell you what, if I get out now, I can make it to Glastonbury in time to see Jess Glynn. That's why Sam Cam's looking at him so, like, intensely. She's not upset. She's thinking, come on, Dave, fuck me, I've got the car running. I want to smash a crate of Bournemouth before Muse. Let's go.
That's why the photo's cropped like that. He's wearing wellies at the press conference.
Just imagine, though. Just imagine when he goes for his next job. Why did you leave your last job, Mr. Cameron? Oh, I fucked Europe, to be honest with you. It's pretty bad.
I fucked Europe. That's a holiday and a half, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few people can say that they did that in the 80s.
Lovely bit of topical.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I really enjoyed that.
CD. Help me get that, Joe.
Sky News tried to sum up how we were going to feel on referendum night by putting political commentator Adam Bolton on a roller coaster. You know, because the whole thing was a roller. You get it. You get it. There he is. By the way, that is a look on his face that only Mrs. Bolton has ever seen.
I mean...
Thing is, I'm not sure that is the best. I mean, ahead of time it might have turned out like that, but I think eventually the whole thing was just more like a big roundabout at a kids' park. Ooh. There was more spin after more spin and after more spin, and at the end of it all, we all just felt sick. A bit like this.
God, that is tough. Oh, God.
By the way, after all that happened, this happened.
I'm not allowed near that play park anymore.
There was an old person who walked past and thought, glad we went. Glad we went.
We clearly have a lot more to talk about tonight, but to help us make sense of some more of it, would you please welcome tonight's guest? He's an actor and comedian who is starting Green Wing episodes and Postman Pat. It's Stephen Mangan. Stephen Mangan, how are you feeling about it all today?
I'm feeling very positive, very positive.
Are you?
Yeah. I think, I mean, it's not the result I'd have wanted, but I'm a positive person. I like to look at things in a glass half full kind of way.
Yeah.
So I see it as a positive that the only world leader who thinks that Brexit was a good idea was Vladimir Putin, because he's always got our best interests at heart. I'm seeing it as a positive that Donald Trump, that big orange twat, thinks it's a good idea because he always talks a lot of sense. I see it as a positive that far-right groups all around Europe are absolutely ecstatic with this result.
Yes.
Because I'm assuming far-right means they're really right about it. And I'm seeing it as a positive that yesterday we were the 5th biggest economy in the world, and now the pound has gone through the floor. We're the 6th, we've been overtaken by France.
Right.
And that's a positive, because if you finish 5th, you have to do the Europa League, and that's a... So I think it's all good, basically.
While we're talking world leaders, Fat Harry tweeted to say, is it OK that this fucking clown could soon be our Prime Minister? Hashtag what have we done?
God, I wish I was the guy that took that photo. He is going to be minted over the next few years.
Also, Farage says that they've given the establishment a really good kicking by this result.
Yes.
And
yes.
Boris is most likely to be our next Prime Minister, so, huh? How does that work?
Well, the weird thing was Kay Burley spent all night trying to track down Boris Johnson outside his house, couldn't get to him, and then this morning, this happened.
I mean, that could have been any morning for Boris.
I wish he'd chosen to ride his bike this morning.
It's entirely possible it was Kay Burley that yelled that. And look, you may remember on the night of the last year's general election, we held a ham and exit poll in the studio, and we basically had a pig race to predict the result of the election. Turns out, while the pollsters got it wrong, our pigs actually got it right. So, last week, after our show, in this studio, we used a lone pig to predict which way the British public would vote in the referendum. This is what happened.
Here we go. 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 Oh,
he's changed his mind.
Yeah. No, come on. Yes, he's done it. How deep does he need to go in? He did touch an apple with his nose.
Did Beanie just predict a Brexit?
There we go. He's eating an apple. There we go.
That's it. That's it. Beanie has chosen. Beanie has chosen, and ladies and gentlemen...
Look at him looking at Cameron there.
To be honest, I mean, he's probably looking at Cameron saying, I've had bad experiences. So, turns out the pig got it right again.
It wasn't about guessing. We just wanted to get a shot of a pig crawling into David Cameron's crotch for a laugh.
Worked for me.
Not only, though, did the pig pick Brexit, it went there for a little while and then eventually it went back to stay.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Do you think...
And also, now Michael Gove said the country is sick of experts.
Yeah.
That pig could be our next Chancellor of the Exchequer.
We'll have more Last Leg In, Last Leg Out for you after the break, when we'll be joined on the couch by Labor MP John Mann and Boris Johnson's dad, Stanley Johnson. We'll see you in a little bit.
These simple rhymes be good for your health. To keep them crime rhymes on the shelf. Live, love life like you just don't care. High fives and leaders never scared. Rain the noise is the moment they fear. Get up, sit up, live for idea. Get up, throw your hands in the air.
Say farewell to France, goodbye to Greece and bugger off to Brussels. It's Friday, we're live, we're out of the EU, and it's time for the Last Leg In, Last Leg Out. Tonight on the show, the referendum results throw a cat among the pigeons. We'll recap a campaign that featured a lot of bull. Plus, we'll be joined on the couch by actor and comedian Stephen Mangan, as well as Labor MP John Mann and Boris Johnson's dad Stanley, on the show that's wondering if we've all just gone to the dogs. Welcome to the Last Leg In, Last Leg Out, the show that fell asleep last night inside Europe and woke up this morning with Donald Trump inside us. With me on the couch, as always, are the pride of Dartmoor, Josh Widdicombe, and the man who thought a no-confidence motion was something you had the morning after a big night out, Alex Brooker. It may not surprise you to know we've had a lot of tweets today. Like this one from Stella Branch, who said, is it okay to be wondering what the last leg will be putting together for this evening's program? Hashtag Brexit, hashtag the indecent minority. Yes, it is okay to wonder what we've been putting together for tonight, because for most of the day we've been wondering that too. This is not what we signed up for. Can I just point that out? 4 years ago, we were asked to host a dinky little Paralympics highlight show.
I wasn't even meant to be on the sofa. I was just meant to be doing the medals table. Now we're out the EU. We're fucked.
I don't think one thing led to the other. I don't think the people of Britain were going, right, this has gone too far.